First Sergeant Kep here with Company D, 2nd United States Sharpshooters, and thanks for joining us. Today I wanted to show you inside of my A tent, so you can kind of get a glimpse of what a typical reenactor might have in a tent. You can hide all sorts of modern conveniences inside of an A tent. In most of our organization's activities, it's not so much an army on campaign as it is sort of, well, it's not even quite a garrison impression, but it is sort of a garrison. So you will see more A tents. Obviously, if you were a officer or NCO, especially later in the war, you would probably just be down to a shelter half, a dog tent, or just sleep on the ground in your bedroll. So in my A tent, I have the biggest one that Fall Creek Sutler has. Not a sponsor, but they make really good quality tents, and I've been really happy with this one for many years. I got the big one, so I also have room for my wife when she joins us. And so I just want to say one last thing, that if you are a dedicated campaigner, please feel free to click away right now. If you're just hardcore campaigner, the amount of head shaking that you're likely to do right now could cause a repetitive stress injury. So come on in. So in my A tent, I don't have a whole lot. It's just myself this weekend, and this is my bed. I have the large Cabela's cot. I absolutely love it. I think I paid about $80 for it. I got it on sale, and it is incredibly comfortable. I've used it for many years. It doesn't stretch or sag. And then I have a modern sleeping bag, and just in, just any old quilt. This one is not period correct. It's just something that was really cheap at an antique store, and something I wouldn't feel bad about getting dirty at events. I also have my pillow and my sleeping cap. If you haven't started reenacting, or maybe you have been reenacting, one of the easiest ways to make your sleeping at night comfortable is just by wearing a sleeping cap. And there's all kinds of resources online if you're looking for inspiration. And there's plenty of pictures of soldiers wearing them. So if you want to find a specific impression that might fit you, a sleeping cap could be a useful way to stay cozy on cold nights. By my bed, I have a custom-made nightstand. This one goes into dados that I cut into my upright. It just slides in, and I have a bolt that goes through it, so I can keep my lantern, a cup of water at night. And my current read right now is the 1865 Quartermaster Manual. I'll probably be doing a review on this book in the near future. It's pretty phenomenal. There's lots of good information, so I'm spending a lot of time researching it. Over here, I have my ice chest, just concealed with some leftover canvas that I had in my shop. And it does a good enough job. It also provides more raised storage. Down on the ground, I have a couple of hand crocheted wool rugs that my wife made. These are, again, you probably wouldn't have it in a period tent or an actual campaign, or maybe even a garrison situation. But if you are reenacting and you do like to have a little bit more comfort, and you're not worried about being 100% authentic inside of your tent, having some nice period looking rugs on the ground make it really comfortable when you're getting changed in the morning. This is just my water cooler. I just sewed a simple cover for it so it doesn't stand out so much with all of its plastic. For water cooler, generally, if you're campaigning, if you're trying to do just a really strict soldier impression, you would probably just fill up your canteens as needed at whatever water source that your event would have. But it's often really nice to have additional water on hand. So for my water cooler, I think I paid like $5 more to get the one with the handle and the wheels. Again, totally farby, but absolutely handy when you're at events. Because also at some events, water could be a long ways away, and you may not want to have to be carrying several gallons of water back and forth across large fields. Down here I have another canteen. I have my Berdan knapsack, which I'm working on. I'm actually working really hard. I'm almost done with having this completely packed up with 100% period correct items. There's just a couple. I need to get another pair of period correct socks and an extra shirt, and this one will be pretty much ready to go for the next time we do go heavy campaign, or if we do a Company D bivouac event where we are 100% authentic. Here I just have one of my Sharps ammo boxes that I converted into my cleaning kit. I did a video on how to make these that you can check out. I keep all my extra rounds, gloves, tools, implements, anything that I might need. And I also have my bag of cone picks. And I did a blog post on our website at 2nd USSS on how to make these. So if you're curious in making your own, you can give that a shot. And aside from that, all I have is my writing desk, which I keep my papers, a lot of manuals. This one is one of many that we have from Silas Tackett. He's got a fantastic website with lots of downloadable and printable manuals. I have McClellan's 1852 bayonet exercise manual, 1861 uniform and dress regulations, parade inspections and basic evolutions of the infantry battalion. This is really good. You can find it. Customs of service for officers. We always try to train up, so we always know the duties and responsibilities of the next office above ourselves. 1865 Customs of Service for NCOs, Laws of War, a signal whistle, ink, some quill pens. I recently purchased some of these quill pens from the sutler of Fort Scott, and they write wonderfully. I highly recommend them if you like to write with ink. I have a broadside of the Berdan Sharpshooter song that we sing on the march. And I also have morning reports, because as a first sergeant, it's one of the key duties that you have every day. So let me put this away. It's always sort of a bit of order. So I'll sit outside and work on this and fill out my company paperwork for the day. And then other than that, I just have my chest, and I just keep extra uniform equipment, medications, toiletries, extra socks, sometimes extra gear for, depending on what sort of impression that we're doing. If we're doing early war, late war, you'll have different uniform combinations. And it's really handy to be able to have everything in one solid locker. And I think I show more of this, or one I made for my wife, in our Civil War woodworking secrets revealed video. The other nice thing about having a cot, when I started out in the hobby, I slept on the ground just like everybody else, on the ground cloth and a wool blanket. And as I get older and I'm working pretty hard as a first sergeant, it's really nice to have a really good night's rest so I can be prepared to take care of the company. Having a big quilt over it, if you do like to be able to not have to keep your doors super securely tied, is if you have a big quilt with overhang, then you can store even more farb underneath your cot. So I have like dry food bags, dirty clothes bag, garbage bag, my slippers, so I don't have to worry about trying to lace up my brogans in the middle of the night. So yeah, I keep it pretty simple. It's big enough so when my wife is with me, the Mrs. First Sergeant can sleep on this side, and she'll have her trunk over here as well, and then we'll have a fly and set up for her, because she also portrays the Maine Camp and Hospital Association that would have likely been around other Maine units like Company D. So we hope this was informative. I hope this maybe kind of gave you some ideas, or maybe reassured you if you were worried about getting into the hobby, what are some accommodations and what may or may not be allowed. This is fairly common for a lot of reenactors. I try to disguise as much as I can to a certain degree. Other people are pretty much straight modern inside of an A tent. They'll have air mattresses and electric lights and portable stoves and cell phone chargers, all their sort of modern conveniences that you would have just going camping when you're not trying to be in the 1860s. So And in Company D, you know, we pride ourselves, like everything that's outside of the canvas, especially the A-tents, is going to be period correct or on its way to be period correct. We have a great group of privates who take great care in having great dog tent, shelter tent impressions, and everything tries to be as period correct as possible. But even if they do like to have a few modern conveniences, they hide it in period correct containers so that the public is not deceived and it doesn't ruin anyone's immersion. So let us know if you have any questions or comments, tips or thoughts on how you like to kind of have creature comforts while reenacting. Of course, there's still plenty of room if you want to campaign it up, but in Company D, we try to provide information for people wherever they find themselves on the reenacting spectrum, from making an encouraging environment for people considering the hobby, to people trying to stay in the hobby, all the way up to throwing out some useful nuggets for our hardcore brothers and sisters in the hobby. So thanks for watching, and if you want some more information about Berdan sharpshooters or Civil War reenacting, be sure to check us out online at 2nduSSS.com. We'll see you next time.